Hi guys, you finally get to see me. This is Martha Wright and this is my channel. I lit candle presentations for the XJW community, and yes, I am reading a lot of stuff off. I am doing my number 6 video and number 5 in the series on mental health and Jehovah's Witnesses. I think you will see why I am including this word topic in my presentation on this series. As you know, if you know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, or you've been to any meetings, and especially in the past, you'll know that there is a certain word that you might say can strike terror into the heart of one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Maybe even the children will prick up their ears. Yes, it is that word, that what we would now call a trigger word, Armageddon. Of course, we heard a lot about Great Tribulation, but back then, when I was younger, it was Armageddon. They didn't like divide it up, you know. So, I haven't said much about my background. I am 4th generation. Yes, my great-grandmother actually knew Russell and had him over quite a bit to her house in Maryland. Mountain Lake Park, Maryland was one place. My parents, of course, were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they didn't actually go to all the meetings all the time. In fact, it was very patchy, and my father, I remember going a little bit more. My mother was always working, and actually I'd like to go into all this kind of thing later because I just want to make this a short one. What happened was I really didn't get much training, but in fact by the time I was 9, I didn't even know there were chapters and verses in the Bible. But you do remember those words, don't you? Armageddon. And when I was 10, I had gone to all the big assemblies in New York. I think I was 3, 5, and then 10. And in fact, if you know anything about that assembly, it was quite impressive. There were like about 240,000 people there. They overflowed into the Polo Grounds from Yankee Stadium. And on Sunday, it was packed. And I was the little girl in the red dress out there on the lawn. You know, we had to overflow onto the field. So yes, I definitely remember that assembly, and that was when the book Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained came out, and it had a big impact on me. I didn't really read the Society's literature till then, and you will remember, if you were there reading that book at that time, that was a big thing, that book, and it had in the back all this pictures of Armageddon with the buildings falling and all the bad people, you know, falling into earthquake caverns opening up in the ground, and you know, all that sort of thing. Anyway, I really latched on to the truth, as we said at that time. Had suffered a bit of abandonment there, and I just started going to all the meetings and read all the literature and really became a very completely indoctrinated Jehovah's Witness. And when I was 19, I decided I would have all my wisdom teeth out at the same time, which is a big mistake. Don't do that. And at that time, I could get it done for $100 because I was working in the medical field, and I got a big discount. So I was living with 3 other Jehovah's Witness girls around my age, and one of them drove me over and was going to wait for me and drive me home, of course, because you're really out of it after a big surgery like that, and it is a big surgery. So she was waiting, and I remember the doctor's room with a bunch of you know, assistants, ladies with him, and he's going to work. And remember, this procedure, especially if you have impacted wisdom teeth like I did, you have to get in there with a jackhammer and, all kinds of equipment, cut the gums, cut the bone, my word. It's quite a horrific procedure. So they give you quite a bit of anesthetic, and at that time, they also gave me sodium pentothal, the truth serum, okay? So I do remember vaguely through the haze of anesthesia that these people were talking to me and asking me questions, and they were laughing. So afterwards, the lady who brought me over, the sister, Diane, was lightly tapping my hand and trying to wake me up. I was having a hard time coming out of that anesthesia. And she was laughing. She told me later, she said, Martha, no matter what they asked you, no matter what anybody said, all you would say was Armageddon, Armageddon. So this word, as you know, sinks deeply into the psyche and the subconscious. And I know some of the channels have talked about the hard time they have getting away from the thinking of the organization and so forth. So remember the trigger words, and do remember my story.